Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to bring you my February wrap-up. So February was an amazing reading month for me. I read 11 physical books, I listened to 5 audiobooks, read 3 graphic novels and 1 comic. That's intense. I have no idea how I managed to read that much this month. Most of the books I read were also on my TBR for this month. I DNF'd one of them because I just wasn't in the mood to read that book at the moment. And the last book I also did not finish was Stephen King's The Dark Tower. I'm currently listening to that in audiobook, so I will be done with it soon enough. The first book I read this month was the book I was going to finish or continue on a series, and that was Spyglass by Maria V. Schneider. This is the third and last book in her Glass trilogy, which is a spin-off of her Study series. I hate this book. I can't say anything else. The plot was full of holes and not that good, and everything just seemed to build up to humiliation and rape, and it's just morally wrong in every possible way. So this got a 1 out of 5 stars for me, and I will not be reading any more from this author ever. Then I listened to Walk on Earth a Stranger by Rae Carson. This is her 5th book, I would say, and it's about this girl that lives in America during the California gold rush, and she can sense gold, and people want that ability, and people want her, and just things evolves from there. I really enjoyed this book. It was a fairly easy read, and I listened to it pretty fast, and I would recommend it. Then again, it was kind of slow. It didn't really... that much didn't happen, and it was just mainly her travel from where she used to live to California, and it wasn't all that action-packed, so it only got a 3 out of 5 stars. Then Audible was giving away an audiobook, or part of an audiobook, and that was Les Liaisons Dangereuses by Cordelos de Laclos. I do not speak French, as you may have guessed. This was parts of a play based on Laclos's book, and it was only like 3 hours long and not in the entire book at all, and it just wasn't for me. I did listen to it because it was so short and I got it for free, but I probably will not read the book because it seems to be like a lot of intrigue and romance and stuff like that, so it only got 1 out of 5 stars. Then I did a real listen. Seriously, I did a lot of listening in the start of February, and that was The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Ocean Irving, and this is like 1 hour and 15 minutes long, so we did listen to it in a day. And it's not exactly what one would expect if you've seen the show Sleepy Hollow or even the movie with Johnny Depp. It's kind of slow, but it's an easy read, and if you do like classics, I do believe you would like this one as well. And it got a 4 out of 5 stars for me because Tom Meissen, who is the narrator of this book, is awesome. Then I read the month's comic, and that was ElfQuest, the final quest number 13, and I've been following this for a while, as you may have noticed if you have subscribed to my channel. And stuff is happening, and Rayek, you can just go die, and I need a next volume. This got a 5 out of 5 stars. ElfQuest is written and drawn by Wendy and Richard Pini. Then I read Driven by Kelly Armstrong. This is one of her annually Subterranean Press limited books, and it's just a short story basically. And this book follows Elena, and shit is going down, and I can't say anything about this book because it's so late in the series, and I would spoil everything if I did. But it got a 5 out of 5 stars from me. Then I read the first book of a trio that I read all of the books in this month, and that was Å by Knut Nærum. And it's like a collection of like short humoristic comedian related pieces, like he does his own take on these most known criminal characters out there, because in Norway we have a big like crime thriller community, and Harry Potter is in here and stuff like that. It's an okay read. I don't really like his kind of humor all that much, but I flew through it. I borrowed it from a friend, and Å, the first book, got a 3 out of 5 stars, Ö got a 3 out of 5 stars, and I got 2 out of 5 stars because this one focused more on political jokes than the rest of the 2 books, and I really don't have any interest in political jokes. I read these throughout the month. I started them in the start of February and finished the last one on the leap day. So then I picked up and read Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. I have read the 2 first books and I really enjoyed them. This is the 3rd book in her Raven Cycle series, and I decided that I had to read this soon because the next book is going to come out now in March, and I hope to be able to buy it and read it. And the plan was actually to read this in April because previously I have read the 2 previous books read really slow for me, but I wanted to read it, so I thought, what better time? And so I picked it up and I read it, and I seriously flew through this. I have no idea what happened, but it was so much easier reading this book than it was for me reading the previous books, and it was so interesting, and I can't wait for the last book because everyone knows what's going to happen in the last book, and I want to see if Stiefvater finds a way around it or if she actually goes through with it. And it's a really unique take on the book to like spoil what is going to happen, but I like it. So this one got a 4 out of 5 stars from me. Then, if you remember, there was a readathon here in Norway now in February, and I read 3 books during this readathon, as well as 3 graphic novels, and I will not go into detail on these books here because I have already done that in my readathon wrap-up, so I'll be leaving the link to that video, the thingy down below, so go check that out. But the books I read were Mitosis by Brandon Sanderson. This is the short story set after his book Steelheart in the Rekners trilogy. This one got 5 out of 5 stars. Then Utvalgte by Kristin Lindström. This is a Norwegian book and it did not impress me that much, and it only got 2 out of 5 stars. The Story of Kullervo by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a collection of essays and information about this short story called The Story of Kullervo that J.R.R. Tolkien wrote. I only read the main story and not the rest of the essays because I have no interest in that, and it got a 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read all 3 of the Carbon Grey graphic novels, and this is an alternate reality graphic novel set during a war with a magical stone and some local history. I'm kind of confused by it, so I will have to do a reread of this series sometime in the future. The first album, Sisters of War, got 2 out of 5 stars. The second album, Daughters of Stone, got 3 out of 5 stars. And the third album, Mothers of Revolution, got 4 out of 5 stars. Then I finished listening to another audiobook, and that was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Everybody has heard about this story sometime, and I really want to read it, but I have some problems with reading classics, so I decided to listen to it instead, and so I did, and it was not what I had expected. Like most of these classic horror stories, it is not what you expect. But it was a fairly interesting listen, and I'm glad that I listened to it and used time on it, because now I can actually go around saying I've read Frankenstein. Unfortunately, it only got 3 out of 5 stars from me. Then I listened to Lips Touched 3 times by Laini Taylor. I normally do not enjoy like romantic books like this, but I decided I would give it a shot because I was currently reading a thick fantasy book. And it was a fun listen, and it contains 3 short stories. The first one is Godling Fruit. It talks about this girl Kissy that is an immigrant to the US with her weird family, and they bury swan wings with their dead and give them knives and dance around the dead so they will not wake up and stuff like that. So they're fairly weird and really awesome, but Kissy wants to be like everybody else, and the goblins, they want to steal the souls of those that want to be like everybody else, and therefore they target Kissy. The second short story is called Spicy Little Curses, and it is about this girl that gets a curse on her baptism day, and that says that she will have the most beautiful voice ever, but everybody who hears it will die. And so she never speaks, she doesn't even cry as a baby, until a man wants her to marry him, and she decides that she will talk to him and sing to everybody and stuff like that. So And the last story was Hatchling. This is about a girl with a young mother, and turns out that the mother used to be the pet of the fairies, and a lot of stuff. This has some trigger warnings for rape, so watch out for that if you're going to listen to it. But it was really interesting, and all in all I really enjoyed listening to these stories, and they all got 4 out of 5 stars. The fantasy book I was reading at the time I was listening to Lips Touched 3 Times was Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This is a thick book with fairly small writing, so I thought it would be a lot harder for me to read, but it wasn't. I love this book, and it takes up so many important themes and talks about religion and sickness and prejudice and identity, and yeah, I really love this book. I will be doing a review of this, so stay tuned to this channel if you want to see a full review of this, because I will start gushing about this book if I allow myself to. But all in all, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. And I really recommend it if you like fantasy, and it's an easy read to get into fantasy as well. Then the last book I read in February was A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. First off, I thought this was going to be a steampunk novel. It was not. Be prepared for that if you're going to read it. No steampunk. But I've heard a lot about Libba Bray around BookTube, and I thought I would give her a chance. And because I thought this was going to be a steampunk novel, I thought this would be a good place to start. As I said, it was not a steampunk novel, but it was not so romantic as I feared it would be. It's about this girl that lives in India with her family until her mother gets murdered, and she is shipped back to England and is put into like this boarding school for girls to evolve them into ladies, I guess, during the 1800s. And on this school she gets some friends, she gets some enemies, and she also discovers new parts of herself and about her mother. It isn't really that filled with magic as I had hoped, but it isn't really all that much high school drama either. It do talk some, you can read into it that they talk about like drug abuse and stuff like that, but it got a 3 out of 5 stars, and I am interested in reading the rest of the series as well, and more books by her. And that was my wrap up of February. Sorry if it got so long, but I read a lot in February, like seriously. I'm thinking about doing a review for A Great and Terrible Beauty as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you think I should do that. I have not uploaded the review of Elantris yet, and as you may guess, I have not done the review of A Great and Terrible Beauty yet, but when I do, I will be leaving the links in the description thingy down below, so go check those out if you are watching this video in the future. And if you are watching it today, on the publishing day, and before the links are down there, you should just like subscribe to this channel and wait for the reviews to come. What books did you read in February? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys later. Bye!